Time stood still, the crowd erupted. And a 40-year-old LeBron James just dropped 42 points on the Warriors like it was 2012 all over again. On February 6, 2025, the King didn't just break Michael Jordan's record, he laughed at Father Time. But this wasn't just about LeBron, this was about Kareem at 38, silencing Boston in the finals after being called washed. And at 39, Jamal Crawford was casually dropping 51 points off the bench. Because why not? These legends didn't just play basketball, they bent reality. They turned too old into watch this. And they reminded us that greatness doesn't retire, it reloads. And if you think 40 is just a number, hit subscribe, because time hasn't stopped these icons yet. LeBron James. On February 6, 2025, LeBron James didn't just turn back the clock, he surprised the NBA world. Dropping 42 points at 40 years and 38 days old, he passed Michael Jordan to become the oldest player to ever score 40 in a game. But this wasn't a ceremonial tribute. LeBron dominated the Warriors with 17 rebounds and 8 assists, practically controlling the game from every angle. Lakers coach JJ Redick summed it up. "We've run out of words. It continues to be remarkable." What makes it even crazier, LeBron was also the youngest to ever score 40 at just 19, 2 decades of defying logic, and he's still not done. Michael Jordan. Before LeBron claimed that record, Michael Jordan wore the crown, and he wasn't even in a Bulls jersey. On February 21, 2003, playing for the Washington Wizards, 40-year-old MJ dropped 43 points on the New Jersey Nets. Reminding the world that even in his final chapter, the fire never left. He shot 18 of 30 from the field and 7 of 8 from the line, but it wasn't just numbers, it was surgical, old-school brilliance. People once said the Wizards' stint hurt his legacy. This game said otherwise. It proved that greatness isn't tied to championships, it's who you are, every night, no matter the jersey. For young players, it was humbling. For fans, it was one last trip to the Jordan era. For basketball history, it was proof the magic never really faded. Vince Carter. At 40 years old, Vince Carter wasn't supposed to be dropping 24 points out of nowhere, but that's exactly what happened when he lit up the Cavaliers while playing for the Sacramento Kings. He hadn't scored double digits all season until that night. It wasn't just scoring, it was how he did it. For a moment, it felt like the clock had rewound 15 years. This wasn't some tribute game or final home stretch. It was pure, instinctive basketball. And that's what made it so beautiful. Carter reminded everyone that greatness doesn't vanish, it adapts. His younger teammates were in awe, coaches took notes, and fans? They just sat back and watched a living legend go vintage. The man once called half man, half amazing showed he was still full of heart and far from done. John Stockton. April 13th, 2002. John Stockton was 40, but nobody watching could have guessed. Against the Warriors, he dropped 26 points, 9 assists, and 4 steals. That's not a stat line, that's a clinic. He shot 7 of 11 from the floor, and a perfect 12 for 12 from the line. While others slowed down, Stockton looked like he was running a masterclass. And here's the thing, this wasn't a farewell performance. He had been doing this every night. No skipped games, no special treatment, just consistent elite play. Up against younger stars like Gilbert Arenas, Stockton didn't just keep up, he ran the show. His performance didn't just remind people of his greatness. It redefined what longevity could look like in the NBA. He made 40 look like just another number. And he made point guard excellence look timeless. Karl Malone. At 40 years old, Karl Malone pulled off something that even most young stars dream about. a triple-double. That's right, the mailman became the oldest player in NBA history to notch one, proving that some deliveries still arrive right on time. But this wasn't just about numbers, it was about dominance. Scoring, rebounding, assisting, it was all there. Younger players looked stunned, older vets looked inspired, and fans, they got a flashback to primetime Malone. The triple-double wasn't just a stat, it was a statement.
That's a triple-double! Fourth time in Karl Malone's career, a triple-double.
One only a legend could make. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar's 1985 Finals revenge. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar looked like a man past his prime during Game 1 of the 1985 NBA Finals. Boston blew out the Lakers by 34 points, and Kareem got outplayed badly by Robert Parrish. It was so ugly, the game was nicknamed the Memorial Day Massacre. But the next morning, Kareem apologized to every teammate in their hotel. "I was embarrassed," he admitted. Coach Pat Riley didn't sugarcoat it either. Kareem was bad, he knew it, and he owned it. Then came the flip. In Game 2, Kareem looked reborn, dropping 30 points, 17 boards, and stuffing the stat sheet. He followed that with a monster Game 5, scored 36, and led the Lakers to their first finals win in Boston. At 38, he became the oldest finals MVP ever. "He defies logic," said Riley. "He's just incredible." Kareem didn't just play, he turned back time. Al Horford's 2024 playoff comeback.
Defense and able to get a contest there.
TD Garden didn't advertise turn back the clock night, but that's exactly what happened. With Porzingis out, 37-year-old Al Horford had to step up, and after struggling earlier in the series, many thought he was done. He wasn't. Horford went vintage in Game 5, draining 6 threes and scoring 22 points, his highest scoring playoff game in years. But it wasn't just buckets. He grabbed 15 rebounds, 12 of them in the second half, and out-rebounded the entire Cavs team in the fourth quarter. 4 offensive boards in crunch time, 3 blocks, 5 assists, and leadership you could feel through the screen, yelling in huddles, calming teammates mid-play. On the other side, 34-year-old Marcus Morris also turned back the clock for Cleveland, but it was Horford's night. Jamal Crawford's final masterpiece at 39. April 9th, 2019. No playoff hopes, no national spotlight. Just a 39-year-old Jamal Crawford coming off the Suns bench and dropping 51. Not only did he become the oldest player to ever score 50, but he also became the first to do it for 4 different teams: Chicago, New York, Golden State, now Phoenix. It wasn't a farewell tour, but it sure felt like one. Crawford averaged 31.3 points over his final 4 games, but still, no team signed him after that, not one. When Brooklyn finally called in 2020, his return was short-lived. Just 6 minutes into his debut, he tweaked his hamstring. And just like that, his NBA career was over. No parade, no press conference, just one last night of magic. Jay Crossover didn't fade away quietly. He left with buckets, the way he always did. Reggie Miller's last duel with Kobe. Most people today know Reggie Miller from TNT, not from torching teams in crunch time. But ask anyone who watched him play. He was a problem. And in his showdown with Kobe Bryant, he reminded everyone. Reggie was 39 years old. The Lakers were in town, the same team that broke his heart in the 2000 finals. And somehow, the old sharpshooter turned back the clock. He dropped 39 points, outscoring Kobe 39-12, and closed it out with 6 free throws in the final 25 seconds. It was his highest scoring night in 5 years. Kobe, as competitive as ever, still paid his respects. He had a magnificent career and a Hall of Fame career. My hat goes off to him. Reggie didn't need a ring to prove anything that night. The game spoke for him. In a league obsessed with youth, these legends proved greatness doesn't age. The LeBron's dominance to Jordan's final act, Kareem's late redemption, and Jamal Crawford's farewell fireworks. Each moment reminded us why we love this game. It wasn't just about stats. It was about defying time, silencing doubt, and delivering under pressure. Age didn't slow them down, it sharpened them. Their legacy lives on in every arena, reminding us that greatness evolves, but never fades. Who had the most iconic post-35 performance? Drop your pick in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe for more unforgettable basketball stories.